Oh, we're live. I didn't mean to be live, but we are. I pushed a button, and we are live. I'm confused. I'm on Restream. I on OBS I hit the start streaming button, which would make sense. Start the stream, but recently, when I set up Restream, I thought it did a look at that. Ooh, that's fun. Um, yep. I hit the button here, and it just turns on this. I didn't also hit these. So let's see what Twitch has here. All right, I'm there. We're going. So these are named wrong because I didn't update the titles. I also need to change that. Oh, it's playing. I hear the audio. Okay, so let's get on to this business. All right. We don't need. What am I looking at? Oh, I took the wrong thing away. I need CSS. I need that. There we go. Okay. I also have some fun music playing today. You can take a snapshot of this if someone wants to follow along. I don't know these songs. This is what it was made for me. It made a crate digging list for me. And so far, fantastic. This right here, whatever this is, 1982 album, has been basically, this song, that's all I heard, what I make for my music. So, anyway, that's not why we're here. We're here to learn the magic of coding. I've got music in my ears, which I'm trying out for the first time. Maybe too loud. I don't know. All right. Let's get back in this business. We've got our index, our HTML file. It's set up. A viewport. We've got no title. See that? No. Let's give it a title real quick. Let's see if it'll update it. Yeah. I'm remembering. Okay. I mean, this is real simple stuff, but take a win when you gotta win. Rack up the W's, they say. I don't know who says that. So, this is our HTML file. Let's have a look at our CSS file. And we're gonna go over, put a restream over here in case there's chat peoples, because I can open up a chat thing. Last time there was a chat person who said, "Let's do stuff." So, all right, here we go. We are on step 22, and we have H1, the headings are text align centered. Got it. We have container, marker, and now we're going to change something inside of this area, it looks like. Whatever the 1 was, the 2 and the 3. All right. A function. Oh, yes, this is where it gets real fun. Did I skip this? Oh, yeah, I went off into a crazy tangent about learning about functions. And now that I did that, I don't remember what I learned. How wonderful this is. We're going to just... All right, I've got where I did the chat GPT stuff earlier and went over it. Let's do a little refresher. Tell me what a function is. That's RGB stuff. The function is a predefined set of instructions or rules that perform a certain task or manipulation of a properties or an element. Here are some functions that let you do various effects. The rotate function. Here, I'll just show it to us. rotate. Well, rotate an element. So, I kind of want to try that out. Let's just try this out real quick. What do we have? What's an element we want to rotate? Let's say if we try to rotate this divider. It has the class of marker and 1. If I remember, can I go back one lesson? Alright, so here's the 1. Let's say that we will transform it. Rotate 45 degree. Deg. That's all it needs. It says on ChatGPT. Let's have a look at it. Whoa, we did it! Alright, we're gonna make games! Sorry, this is what I think of when I think of visual elements moving freely across the screen. That is my my general idea, is that things will move. Moving is the general main thing of games, like video games. All right, so let's undo that. We don't need that. I like testing stuff out to see if what I'm guessing we can do it. We can. All right, let's go back. Let's just learn the basics here. All right, basic code. This is a CSS RGB function that accepts the values, arguments for red, green, blue, and produces the colors. Each red, green. So here's the function, and here's the color red, the color green, the color blue, and it works from 0 to 255. So 0 meaning there's 0 of that color, and it's black, and 255 is 100% of that color. So if we had 255 right here in the red spot, 0, 0, it'd be red, which is what this is. Can we see that? Oh wait, does it show it right here? It does, right there. Can I hover it? Yes. See? Look. What I said was true. Alright. In the one CSS rule, replace the keyword color red with an RGB function. Ooh, this is gonna get crazy. So, RGB function just looks like this. RGB. And then we're gonna parentheses. Oh, what's the value I'm gonna put it? Oh, I'm gonna make it red again. So I'm gonna do the 255, 0, 0. Got it. Let's come over here. I don't know why we're doing this, but we're learning a cool function. That made it black, so if we're watching live over here, I do feel like this means that we could pass in different colors anytime we wanted to, instead of just saying, or we could pass in number information that can then change the color, which would be great for video games when an enemy is attacking and you want an explosion. It goes from orange to yellow or something, or water constantly changing color. We could have it where it goes, we put an equation in, or it's a different variable somewhere else in our CSS or JavaScript that is a kind of a moving number of sorts. We can make it where it's a repeating. It goes from 1 to 2, or 2 to 10, or 0 to 255. And then we could make that equal to a value, and that value could be put into here, and then the colors could kind of waver and change. Just thinking out ideas here of how this is applicable later on. We submit it, we pass, we go. Cool. Am I too loud? I'm not checking anything right now. Check 1, 2. I feel like I'm talking quite loud. I do have a handy dandy notebook. Nope, no notebook. Audio recorder that has an auto clipping kind of level, auto levels on it. So it should be good. Who knows? I mean, you know, you're listening if you're listening. All right. Step 23. Notice the background color for your marker is still red. Great. It's because you set the value of that to red. And all the other values set to 0. Now use the RGB function to set the other colors. All right. So red, green, blue. I'm going to delete it. RGB. 255. Delete it. RGB. 0, comma. That's not 0. 0, comma, 0, comma, 255. Let's look at our. Yeah, still good. Still good. Right here, we're going to have this. RGB, parentheses, 0, comma, 255, 0, comma. Got it. So now, why? Okay, this is just a different green. This green is very bright. Very, very bright. The previous green was kind of dull like this. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, that green is quite highlightery, and this green right here is not so much. Anyway, just noticing things. That is the job of a learner, is to look and notice. I mean, not look all the time, but think about, observe. That's a better way to say it. Looking means you have to use your eyes, I guess, to a degree. But observe, you can observe sounds. These are all sorts of things. That's what we are doing. We are observing. Oh, did it work? Congratulations! Uh-oh. Not reset. Cancel. Next. While the red and blue markers look the same, the green is much lighter than before. Whoa! We observed. Alright, this is the green color keyword. Actually a darker shade. It's about halfway between 127. Okay, well, let's have a look at it. 127. Check the code. Congratulations. I like the other green. We're going to keep it on mine. Actually, wait. It may not be a good idea to do that. Because we're following along the tutorial. We should try to keep it pretty much the same. Check the code. What am I doing? I'm on the wrong one. Sorry. Step 25. I was going to check it here. Yep. It's back to the darker green. Now let's add a little more vertical space between the markers. And the edge of the container. Alright, wait. Before I look at the code, it's saying we want to add vertical space between the markers. Does that mean each marker? We're going to see. If it does, we'll add also between the markers and the edge of the container element they're in. So I'm going to look at my code over here before I look at the tutorial, because I want to test my brain. So here's the container they're talking about, called container, which that container is this black box, I believe, because I've styled container to be the black box. Yes. So we're going to want padding. I'm going to have to change something here. Oh, I got words. Oh, well, I have a job today that is being canceled, so I can do this longer. All right. I'm going to pause for a second and reply to this text. Pause. I'm going to go to the scene with the be back soon. There we go. There we go. And I assume, you can still hear me. I'm just texting and typing. So. mouth sound. We're back. Okay. Did the communications for the work stuff. Got a calendar showing up. That's great. It's not what I want. Okay. All right. Back to learning. So yeah, so the edge of the container. Okay. Edge of... I'm going to guess. I'm going to try to mine separately. And then we'll see. What happens if I add... is it just padding? Yes, padding. I'll say like 10px. Than that. So everything got moved. Wait, did everything get moved? Let's hit... let's cut it real quick. So just the top and bottom of this. So, as I understand cascading style sheets, the cascading part is this container is outside holding these things. And I thought if I did that padding in the container area here, it would also make these also have 10 pixel padding for each other, but I'm not seeing that particularly, so I don't know how that works. What's the margin again? We can do this real quick. We can see exactly what's the developer hotkey. So many questions. Developer tools. It's that, whatever that is. Okay. So see here, this, we got padding. This is the content of the page. We want to go down to the container. That is the padding of this container. Wait a second. Okay, so if I go to this, the margins on the outside, it pushes beyond away. So what if I did margin on these? Because the padding on the inside makes the inside thing smaller, essentially. It reduces the size of the thing inside. Let's see what if margin will share to all. Margin did nothing. Well, it did something, but I'm confused. Okay, let's just see what they're... We're now thoroughly into I don't know land, which is where learning happens. Because if I knew it, I wouldn't be learning, right? That's how it works. You don't learn things you already know. Also, I'm learning that this playlist that I'm playing has words, and that's distracting me. We will move past this song by a band called That's Why. Wait, what is this band? It's from 2012? I have never heard of this band before in my life, and they seem interesting. They have a... This is a total tangent. This is not helpful at all. They have a cross. I'll just show you. Well, maybe not that. I don't know what that is. This. And it looks like the words are Christian-esque. Matthew 25. But it's from the year 2012. So if I hit the album, there it is, see. 2012. That's why. And that phrasing might mean Jesus or something, or love, or God. That's why, kind of. But it had a pretty cool sound that just had words. Don't do the words very well. Now I'm listening to High Seer Don Walker, a song called A D L A-D-I-L. I don't know. But it sounds funky and cool. Some part of me wishes I could just be a radio host. 1973. Ooh. Great. Okay. Wasting time. Let us learn like a salad. Now add a little more vertical space between your markers, which is okay. We'll just read it and the element. In the container, add padding 10. Oh, this is what I did. I did it. This is it. Ha 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 ha. This is good. This is good. Padding 10 px semicolon. But what else is here? Yep. Wait. Oh, this is different. I did padding for all around. It wants just top and bottom. Which I think I have to do this. Comma. Nope, not comma. Space. 0. px. Yes. Got it. Cool. It's nice when you are learning things. Okay. Step 26. In the additive RGB color model, primary colors are colors that, when combined... Oh, I'm losing my brain. Let's take a pause for a quick moment. Once again, more pauses. Some coffee. Oh, and music has words. Although this is a fun song. Some of my camera is tilty. Oh well. Sorry for people who out there who like straight lines. This will be a growth moment. Also, I don't have a way to fix it without just turning off the camera. In the additive RGB color model, which I believe is... We'll just read it. Primary colors are colors that, when combined, make pure white. But for this to happen, each color needs to be set to its highest intensity, which is 255. Before you combine colors, set your green... Hiya! Okay, we're going to set green back to 255. Okay, well, we can do that. No prob, Bob. Got it. And next, now that you have a primary color, it's time to combine them for the RGB function in the container rule. In the container rule, there's no RGB function there. Oh, there is, right there. Yep. Oh, we're gonna make the background white. Okay. Sounds fine to me. Cool. Let's do it. 255. Ooh, not 220. 255. Ooh, I like that. 255. Thank you, Visual Studio Code, for being cool. One cool machine. I don't know. This song is fun. It has drums from Donkey Kong Country in it. Man, I love this old music. Step 28. Secondary colors are the colors you get when you combine primary colors. You might have noticed that some of these changed in your last step while you were changing the values. I did see that. To create the first secondary color, yellow, we need to update the green to 255. Ba-da-ba-da-bum. This is how we can update stuff and change stuff. This is nice. This is nice. I always thought the numbers were confusing and a little frustrating to have numbers. I mean, I get the idea. We have a bunch of values that we can set a large set of different colors, but now I see even more usefulness. To create the secondary color, cyan, update the RGB function to have pure green and pure blue. Let's have a look. Oh, I do like cyan. Out of these colors, my favorite, for sure. Oh, I didn't do it here yet. Got it. Next. Now let's do the third one. What are we going to make? Magenta. We're going to use blue and red. Got it. Now what are we doing with these? We're just making off-color stuff. Cool. After secondary colors, you'll learn how to create tertiary colors by combining a primary with a nearby secondary color. To create the tertiary color orange, update the RGB function in 1, okay, right here. Oh, so that the red is set to... Oh, wait, that both are set to 127? All right, let's have a look. Not 17. 27. 127. Not what it said. I'm not fully reading it. I skipped it. I should have just read it as it was. The red is at max, and the green is at 127. That's an orange. It's not very bright. Is that right? That is correct. Okay. We're going to make... Now notice that your orange has to increase. Notice that to create orange, you had to increase the intensity of red and decrease the intensity of green RGB values. This is because orange is a combination of red and yellow. To create the tertiary color of spring green, combine cyan with green. To update this is going to be this number 2. To update this RGB function in the .2 CSS rule so that the green is max and the blue is 127. Just say it out loud and it will work. Ooh, I like spring green a lot. Spring green is nice. Alright. To create the tertiary color of violet, combine magenta with blue. So, which one are we doing? Set red to 127? So I'm noticing the pattern here. To have the first color, you do full intensity on one of the RGB. R, full red, you got red. If you combine full and full with something else, you get the secondary color. If you bring the second one down, you can create a tertiary color. And if you had a circle of colors, let's see if we can find one real quick. The circle of colors, is that what we call it? I feel like that's not of... Is that right? Here. We're going to open image in new tab. There we go. Oh yeah, nice. Large, we can see it. So I bet we could replicate these. I don't know how you make the alpha the whiter, but we'll get there. We will get there. Red, green, blue. That's really funny to me. Yeah, I can't point to it. I was going to point to it with my finger, but it doesn't work. The red, the green, the blue are not the like around the circle. Like they're not spread out evenly. Something about this color theory is I feel like a little off. I don't know. But orange, yellow, yellow greens. Something from red to blue to me seems odd. But carrying on. We're not here to learn color theory. Exactly, but next, there are 3 more tertiary colors. 3 more. How do we learn? How do we do these? Chartreuse green, which is green and yellow. Azure, which is the Microsoft Web Services. Blue and cyan. And rose, red and magenta. To create chartreuse green, update the RGB function in the 1, which is here, so that it is 127 and set the green value to max. The red's going to be 120. Oh, okay. We're kind of swapping them. 127, 255. That's chartreuse green? So that the red is 127. Got it. The green is max value. Got it. Okay. For azure, same kind of thing. So that the green's 127 and blue is at max. I noticed that we're just swapping the 2 to make these colors. I like that blue. That's a fantastic blue. I'm in. I dig it. And for rose, which is sometimes called bright pink, I'm gonna guess. I don't know. Look at it. We're gonna swap these 2. So we'll call this one 127, and call this one 255. Meh. Is that what it says? Check the code. Congratulations. Those are fun colors. I like those. Now that you've gone through the primary, secondary, tertiary colors on the wheel, you'll be easier to understand the color theory concepts, how they impact design. First, in the CSS rules 1, 2, 3, adjust the values. Every function so that the background color of each element is pure black. Remember, wait. So we're gonna make them all black now? Ah! Control Z is our friend. Check the code. Okay. Now, a color wheel is a circle where similar colors or hues are near each other and different ones are further apart. We just looked at this. Okay. We're on the same brain, Free Code Camp author. For example, pure red is between the hues rose red, rose, and orange. 2 colors that are opposite from each other on the color wheel are called complementary colors. Well, let's go back to our color wheel. Let's find a simpler one. Color wheel. Not color circle. Color wheel. Wheel. How about this one? This one makes more sense to me. A little bit. None of them make that great sense. Oh well. We're just gonna go for it and carry on. This is gonna be pixelated. Not the prettiest. But here we go. Let's have a picture. 2 colors that are opposite from each other. So, green and red. If 2 complementary colors are combined, so complementary is green, red, blue, orange, violet, yellow, and we have all the other mixtures. They produce gray. What? Why would they produce gray? But when they're side by side, these colors produce strong visual contrast. And they appear brighter. This is about the brain, not about the actual colors on the screen. They appear brighter because they're in contrast to each other. Your brain makes them brighter, not the actual thing. So when you're making design on a web page, want something to stand out without having to pump up the colors, you put contrasting things beside each other. You have to have shadows to have light. All right. In this RGB function of number 1, the one CSS rule, let set set the red value to the value of 255. All right, 255, pure red. In the 2, set the blue values for blue and green to the max, which is cyan. And they are pretty startling. The red comes out even more to me. Is this right? What are we looking for? Complementary? Check your code. We'll place them side by side. Yeah, I don't know if this is... The color wheels don't make a bazillion amounts of sense to me because a lot of people have different ones. Yeah, there's almost no consensus on... Here, let's open up another one. Another one! So this one... Oh, is this good? Is this bigger than what we're seeing? No. But it says primary blue, orange secondary, red, green. So what are we doing cyan? That's what I'm confused about. Two colors that are opposite from each other on the color wheel are called complementary colors. If two complementary colors are combined, they produce gray. When they're side by side, they produce strong visual contrast, appear brighter. In the RGB function of 1, set the rule value to pure red. In the RGB function 2, set the CSS rule to the values of green and blue to the max that they can produce cyan. Okay, we're just in the process. We're just going. We're going to see. Notice that red and cyan colors are very bright right next to each other. This contrast can be distracting if it's overused on a website. It can make the text hard to read if it's placed on a complementary colored background. It's better practice to have one color as the dominant color. It uses complementary as an accent to bring attention to certain content on the page. So, in the first H1 rule, use the RGB function and set its background color to cyan. Okay, here's the H1 rule. And we're going to use background. I cheated. I looked down here. I just realized, I was like, well, how do I do background color? As me testing myself and then giving up instantly, I confess. So this is how we do background color. If you have forgotten, talking to myself, obviously. Is there anybody out there watching on this thing? Just, how do I check the different chat things? Oh, I can do a chat overlay into OBS? What? Fun. Alright. Let's just have a little check on the YouTubes and such. Anything's happening out there. Looks like nobody's on the YouTubes. One is watching now. I believe that's me. Let's check the Twitch. It looks like One person's watching, no chats. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. All good. Getting distracted. Getting distracted. Getting distracted. Back on task. Back on task. Background color colon, and then we're going to give it the RGB function, the parentheses, and we're going to give it the color cyan, which is no red, 255, 255. Okay, okay. Check the code. We got it. We got it. We got it. Let's keep going. Right, we're going to change it up here because I don't know what we're going to keep from all this. A lot of this is kind of like winding around in circles of trying all the things out. It's things I would do kind of normally if I knew about them, but it's nice that it's kind of walking me through, here's how you play around all these things. But I am trying to kind of keep up on my VS Studio with the most current version of what we're trying to do. Keep it all kind of similar, which is not right now. I think we're going to go back and change some colors. All right. Step 38. In the one CSS rule, use the RGB function to set the background color to black. All right, background color. Right here. Got it. And the to background color to red. Changing those. I think we're still in a exploring phase. Step 39. Notice how your eyes are naturally drawn to the red. They are. Yes. When designing a site, you can use this effect to draw people's attention to important headings, buttons, or links. These are several important other color combinations outside the complementary colors. You'll learn to use them a bit later. For now, use the RGB function in the .2 CSS rule. Set the background color. We're going all black. Nice. Cool. In step 40, add in the H1 CSS rule. And there's no D right there. And in the H1 CSS rule, remove the background color property value. Let's go to default color. It's going to be white. In the H1, we're going to remove it totally. Right here. Gotcha. I mean, black and white is very clean and chic. Alright. So now it's time to add other details to the markers. Let's start with the first one. Mine still have all sorts of colors. So we'll come in a second. I'll do it right now. Okay, it's time to add details. In the first marker, div element, we're going to go back to the HTML. All right, click back over here to the HTML tab, div class marker 1. I'm guessing if we're going to make changes, it's either going to be in here or inside of it. Let's see. In the first marker division element, change the class 1 to red. Interesting. Yeah, we got rid of it. So I typed in the word, I erased the 1 and put the word red. And all of its CSS styling is gone. All of it. The 1 background color. All right. Now update. the 1 to target the new red class. So we're going to just say it's called red. So I'm replacing ONE with RED. Submitting the next challenge. Step 43, an update. Update the RGB function in the red rule to also set the red value to max. I'm going to the RGB, the red value, putting it at 255, which is the max. Got it. So now we're back in business. Meat's back on the menu, boys. That's Lord of the Rings reference. All right. Step 44. Next, change the class 2 to green and 3 to blue. And I bet we're going to make those colors also relevant. Green. I'm changing the words, typing in the new ones one-handedly, which I feel weird about. Most of them are on the same side of the keyboard. But I want to be more mouse-free. But I feel like while clicking these things, I just didn't use both hands. All right, check the code. Yeah, that's right. They should be gone because there's nothing telling those division things what to do. All right, so now we're going to update to it targets the... Oh, we're going to change these also. Oh, yeah, we were back in the HTML. I was not doing the right thing just then, actually. Did the wrong thing. That's fine. So this needs to be green. So I can target it. I'm back in the HTML, changing the class tags. Okay, checking the code. Got it. It's a very common way to apply color to an element with CSS with a hexadecimal value or hex values. While hex values sound complicated, they're really just another form of RGB. Hex value colors start with hashtag character and take 6 characters from 0 to 9 and A to F. And the hex stands for 6. The first pair of characters represents red. The second pair, green. The third pair, blue. For example, hashtag 4B5320 is yeah, that's it. I don't know what color it is. I wonder if we can just quickly search it. Oh, look at that! It found it for us. Google. Sometimes you're alright. In the green class selector, set the background color property to hex. Oh, FF is full green. Oh, okay. Alright. So it gave us this. Here's the example. So we're going to get rid of all of this. We're going to do hashtag 00FF00. Red, green, blue. Well, it's good. It's similar. Is that it? We did it. Okay. Well, there you go. I'm now typing in hex individually. I never thought I would do this. I've been using hex for decades, since Photoshop C5, 4, or something like that. Photoshop, not even CS 4, like actual 5. I think it was Photoshop 5 was the first version of Photoshop I ever used. I think 6. It was at least 6. You may already be familiar with decimal or base 10 values, which go from 0 to 9. Hexadecimal or base 16 go from 0 to 9 and then A to F. This is interesting. I've never seen this laid out before. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. That's it. If they had a G on there, we could drill down into music land, but we don't have that. Okay. With hex colors, 0, 0 is 0% that color. FF, which is all the way over here, is 100%. So 0, 0, FF, 0, 0 translates to 0 red, 100% green, 0 blue. The same is true 0, 255, 0. Lower the intensity of green by the setting it to 7F. Ugh, this is hard to think about. It's kind of like originally, if it was 0 to 9, the max value would be 9, D9, because there's two of them. So like FF, it'd be 9 and 9, which is 99. That'd be the max value of this number system if it was 0 to 9. And so taking it to 7, 9 would make it less. That's what we're doing. But we're not doing it with 9, we're doing it with F. So FF is the most we can have, so we could make it a little bit less by making it EF or DF, or the smallest amount less of color we could do is to make it FE. Let's have a look at that real quick. I think it will change over here. So you can't even tell the difference. Let's go to F0. Hard to tell the difference, isn't it? So let's go to FF. Okay, that's the original. So let's go to EF. Oh, there we go. Getting a little less intense. DF. Okay, we can see it change. EFD. Oh, backward. Okay, I can do alphabets, right? I can alphabet. C. B. It's just getting darker and darker. A. And 9. Ooh, that's a nice kind of almost forest. 8. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting into forest green territory. 7. Yeah. Got it. So now we've lowered the intensity of the green by setting the green value of the hex color to 7F. Cool. Submit and go to the next challenge. And then we have the HSL color model. HSL, hue, saturation, and lightness. I use this in Photoshop quite a bit. And when I'm editing photos in Lightroom, I want to make something more red or less red, which doesn't change the brightness of it. Particularly, I'm not quite sure actually. But the lightness gets more white or less, or more black. I don't know. Let's read it. So it says, the CSS HSL function accepts 3 values. A number from 0 to 360 for the hue, so it's a circle. Whenever I see 360 in digital world, I think it's probably going to be like, it starts off with that color wheel. So the color wheels are circles. And you start off at 0, maybe, and then at 359 would be right here. You go all the way around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 180 down here at the bottom, 270 over here, and back up again. I don't know if this is how the colors are actually pulled out with red beginning, but I'm guessing it is. Everything else loves a red, green, blue. So let's have a look. This is my guess. Let's see if we can guess. All right. So that's just the hue. That's what the color we're going to choose. And then we're going to say from 0 to 100, this is a percentage. How much of that color are we going to add? Separate from how light it is. Also 0 to 100. So it can be ultra light of that color. So I don't know how you'd get to white. We will see. Imagine if you imagine a color wheel. Ah, look at that, see? Okay. So, yeah, so this I don't why is there no consensus on the color wheels? So, all the color wheels are different. But there's I want to see hex. Is it hex? I want to see HSL color wheel model. Is this an actual one? Click it. Click it. What is this? This looks interesting. I'm gonna. Oh, my internet freeze? It is not working. Does that mean the internet's not working? Ooh. Looks bad. It says I'm excellent. Looks like I'm streaming. I'm looking on YouTube. Looking on Twitch. Let's go somewhere else then and search HSL color wheel model. Google, what is going on? I guess I'll go to not Google. Oh, here it goes. Still having a tough time. Very tough time. What's up with this? What's up with that? I guess we'll go to Bing. Bing's having a fine day. Oh, here we go. This is cool. Oh, now Google's coming up. It's like, oh, hey, wait a second. Don't go to Bing. Don't go. Hold up. Yeah, no. See, Google, you have. I mean, you're trying to go, but you're very slow today. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. It's the server. Who cares? Okay. All right. Interesting. This is a 3D model. This is kind of brain hurting. So at the very middle, it's white. Nope. Or black. Okay, in the middle, it's very light, very dark, up from top to bottom, light to dark. So from 0 all the way to F, they're going up on the HSL, the last one. Oh, no, sorry. That's hex. I'm getting confused. From 0 to 100%. All right. 0% is going to be black. 100% is going to be white. But in the saturation department, when you come from the middle of the, it'd be coming from the middle of the circle to the outside of the circle. So as we turn that from 0 to 100, 100 is all color, and 0 is no color, black and white, gray. And then the hue is around the circle. We choose which hues we're going to be using. Is this another one? That's the same thing. I kind of liked the one that had... We'll just carry on. If you got it, you got it. You don't, you don't. Woof. Whoa. Let's do some brain pain real quick. Let's just look at this. Brain pain. I'm marketing that. That's my thing. Brain pain. What is happening here? What is this? HSL. I feel like we... HSV? value. Oh, I mean, I learned about value in art, which makes more sense. Lightness L doesn't make much sense now that I'm thinking about it. Does it? So what's the value mean? Oh. So on HSL, anything at 100% L is white. Anything at 0 L is black. In value land, if it's 0% value, V, it's black. If it's 100% value, it's 100% of that color. The only way to get white is to have 0 saturation of any hue. So what are these color? What are these formulas? We'll do that brain pain later. Let's go back to the thing. Okay. We need to finish up learning this CSS stuff. Let's just have a little look real quick on how far we are until the end of this section. Oh, wow. Oh, we're halfway-ish. Cool. Let's keep plugging. Let's go. Let's do a sprint from 10 to 11. How's that sound? The HSL color model, or hue, saturation, lightness, is another way to represent colors. 3 values. If you imagine a color wheel, the red, we don't have to imagine it. We have pictures of a color wheel. Aha! The red hue is at 0. So let's say this is 0 right here. And it goes all the way around. Okay. And it says that the green is at 120. So this is 90. In this cutoff area, if the circle kept going from this, it would be right about here. 120. 180. 240 is where blue is. This actually makes sense. This color wheel is divided legitimately. Thank you, Internet, digital world. You've given me a sense of stability. The saturation is the intensity from 0 to 100. And on this picture, we're going outward. And it goes from gray to pure color. Gray to pure color. Interesting. You must add the percent sign to the saturation and lightness values. Okay. This is good programming knowledge. Or getting back into the coding, not just the theory of color. Lightness is how bright it appears. From 0, or complete black, or complete white, with 50% being neutral, whatever that means. In the blue CSS rule, use the HSL. Okay, so I don't know how this looks. We're going to just take a stab at it. HSL. I kind of want there to be a space. And hue, saturation, lightness. The hue is going to be, according to what it just said, 240. So I don't know if this is... I'm going to just do what I think it should be. 240. And we're going to do 100% saturation. So 100% of that color. And then the lightness, 50. Okay. 50%. It worked! I went with my gut, and it worked. So it's very similar to RGB in how you type it, in the form of the code. It is a different system, but it's still 3 numbers. You've learned a few ways to set flat colors. Ooh boy. Here we go. But you can also use a color transition or a gradient, and man, I'm yawning and stretching. Do I need a brain break? Is that what I need? Oh. Should I watch one of those silly videos with kids dancing and what they do at school? I don't know. I know elementary schools. A gradient is when one color transitions into another. The CSS linear gradient function lets you control the direction of the transition along a line. Whoop. There are other gradients, we'll talk about them in a minute probably. Radial, cone. Alright. Which colors are used? You can choose the line and which colors. Well, then remember that the linear gradient function actually creates an image element. And is usually paired with a background property. So it makes an image. Okay. It's usually paired with a background property which can accept an image as a value. So in the red CSS rule, we're going to change the background color property to background. Oh, we're going to get into the actual thing. All right, we just have background. That also worked. So, don't know what the difference in background color and background is. Let's ask some GPT real quick. What is the difference in background color and background in CSS rules? Whoa. Okay, there it goes. In CSS, both background color and background properties are used for styling the background of elements on a web page, but they serve slightly different purposes. Background color is used property to set the hold on a second, I got music playing in my ear with words. And I hit next. Oh, wrong button. Next. Oh, I'm not set up right. That's a fun song. Ooh, yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Let's go to the album. Let's just play this album. Man, I love like 70s electric piano. Why? I don't know. If you don't know this, this is for the people out there on the internet. There is a series of albums. I don't know what KPM 1000 series stands for, but there's a bunch of these KPM something others. They look very similar to this. Man, they're chill. Just chill. So good. Am I logged into the right thing? Oh, yeah, I am. All good. But now I've lost my train of thought. Background colors. Here we go. Background color. This property is used to set the background color of an element, such as a divider or a paragraph. It allows you to specify a color value. It's a straightforward way to change the color without changing any additional background effects. Here's an example. But the background property is more versatile, allows you to set multiple background related properties. In one declaration, you can use it to set not only the background color, but also properties like background position, repeat the background, and more. It's useful when applying more complex background elements. like an image. Don't repeat, just the center. And the color will also be that. All right. Let's carry on. I don't see any of my things anymore. I should make sure I'm set up for success. Cool. Cool. The linear gradient function is very flexible. Here is the basic syntax you'll use in this tutorial. Linear gradient, parentheses, direction, color 1, color 2, ... I can add more colors? That's my observation and my question. Gradient direction is the direction of the line used in the transition. So my question is it going to go from red to blue like this over a line? Like it's cutting it? Like if I do this, red to blue? Or is it going to go red to blue? Or is it going to go through the line, red to blue? Are we drawing the line to how it's going to happen? Let's find out next time on step 50. Color 1, color 2 are used. Which are the colors that will be used in the transition itself? Okay, got it. Color 1, color 2. These can be any type of color. We can choose RGB, hex, HSL. Now you'll apply a red to green gradient along a 90-degree line to the first marker. Okay, red to green. In the first red CSS rule, which is right here, we've just changed the word background color to background. So we're going to get rid of... Actually, we're going to keep this red because we're going to need it. We're going to make something bigger. We're going to add linear gradient. Ooh, gradient. I'm assuming that's a French word to begin with. ENT words in my mind are French. I don't know. Parentheses, and then pass it the value. This is... I am going to do a deep dive into this real quick, because this is the most common and confusing thing in coding world to me. The most confusing thing. In coding, what does quotations? Pass in or pass the value, quote unquote, mean. So this is encoding. Passing refers to the act of providing specific data or information. A value, like a number, usually, or some text. Pass it something. We're giving it something. Okay. To a function or method when you call or invoke that function. Here's the breakdown of the concept. The function or method. In programming, a function or method in object-oriented programming is a reusable block of code. Perform a specific task. I'd rather it was not in Python, because I don't really know what this means. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Specific task or operation. Functions are designed to accept input data, process it, and often produce some output result. Passing values. When you want a function to perform a task, you need to provide it with something. necessary data or information to work with. This is done by passing values or arguments or parameters into the function. Consider a simple function that calculates the sum of two numbers. You would pass in or pass it the values of the numbers as an argument. Here's a Python function as an example. The function is, we're going to define it. It's called add numbers. And here's the two numbers that we can input. We can input a value for A and a value for B. And if we do that, the result of add numbers will equal A plus B. So in this example, 5 and 3 are passed as values to the add numbers function as arguments. Oh, I see right here. Yeah, okay, sorry, I've skipped this. The result equals whatever add numbers. Oh, we're going to return the result. So result equals this function, which is this function happens when we run the code. And the function that's happening is whatever we put here, which is A, and whatever we put here, which is the B stuff, get added together. And that will equal, we're going to assign the value of this thing, whatever it ends up being, 5 plus 3, in this example, is going to be assigned to result. And result will show 8. So passing in. Now, where this is so abstract is that in code itself, you have to write a question, an input area, to make it passed in. How do you get the 5 and 3 there? That's the thing that is confusing to me, is that I see the 5 and 3 are written here, and I can write code myself that will do things. But how do I, quote unquote, pass in information? So I think I know the answer to that, kind of, in a very primitive form. As in the HTML land, we can have inputs, and we can say, here's an email or whatever, and these forms, and we have an input in a form. But we can also use event listeners, I believe, in the JavaScript, which we're not there yet, that say things like, when the space bar is pressed, pass in values. We've written code previously. When space bar is pressed, then add 1 to something. And at that point, our input, our activity with the program, is going to start passing values all around, especially if it's a game like Mario or something. That the character jumps, and a bunch of things happen to make it look like a character's jumping and feel right. And a whole bunch of things are being passed through other things. So I think this is the first time this tutorial, maybe the first time, has said, let's pass in the value. Alright. That's way too long. But I get really hung up on that. So I'm going to be, one of my goals is to fully flesh out what that kind of code means, works with, how it all comes together. Because I think that is one of the biggest tools in this whole system is that you can not just have static things, that it's interactive with itself in a huge automated system. I love it. That seems to be like the hinge point of input, output. Okay. Back to the gradient. We're going to do 90 degree. We're right here. We're going to pass in the value of 90 deg. I don't know if I'm supposed to just do a comma to get the color right. And then another comma for another. Let's do a hex. Oh. We don't know. What's it going to say here? I guess it's just going to be... We don't have any colors yet. So let's just do what it says. Check the code. Okay. Nothing there yet. Now we're going to give it some colors. Just step by step. You'll use the RGB function for the colors. All right. Use the RGB function to set the first color to pure red. So, I'm assuming it's inside the parentheses. RGB pure red is 255 0 0 close. Okay, got it. At this point, I am going to take this and put it into here. Because this is getting... That's the first gradient. The second gradient color is going to be what? Pure green. Okay, well, let's go for it. RGB, that 0, 255, 0. Whoa! Aha! We've got a gradient. But the gradient function, it produces a smooth red-green gradient. While the linear gradient function needs a minimum of 2, it can accept many color arguments. Use the RGB function to add a third as pure blue. All right, well, let's go for it. RGB, parentheses, 0, 0, 255, parentheses. Oh, wait, did I already do it for me? It did. Check the code. Got it. Now this looks like a big complicated mess. But if you know what you're looking at, it's not that complicated. It's just a bunch of text. Color stops allow you to fine-tune where the colors are placed along the gradient. They are a length unit like pixels or percentages that follow a color in the linear gradient function. For example, in this red-black gradient, the transition from red to black takes place at the 90% point along... my brain's drifting. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to look far away. Look outside the window. I see trees. I should look further. I'm going to open the window up. I have to unclick this audio and the headphones. Ugh. There we go. Hey, one of our crepe myrtles. color. All right, cool. Let's get back at it. That's a bit of a break. Now here's the biggest question I got. Why does this little plastic chair pad thing always glide forward? You know? Always moving. It's got progress. Always moving ahead. All right. Here we go. Color. Color stops. This is a new thing for me. I kind of get the idea. Oh, wait, what? Huh. Example. Here's a red and black gradient. The transition from red to black takes place at the 90% point along the gradient line. So, red takes up most of the available space. Linear gradient, 90%. That's going to be a bunch of it. It just says red 90. That seems simple. In the linear gradient function, add a 75% color stop after the first red color argument. So I'm going to put it there. Put 75%. Aha! It worked. Submit and go to the next challenge. Now that you know the basics of linear gradient function and color stops, you can use them to make the markers look more realistic. Alright, we want realistic markers. That's what we've always wanted. And the linear gradient function, so that set the gradient direction to 180 degrees. Okay, let's mess around with this. Okay, so 180 is, in my mind, from top to bottom. I don't know if that's how it works, but it looks... I guess it doesn't really matter. I asked earlier the question of which way is it going. As long as I know that from 180 will layer things from top to bottom, and 90 will do things from left to right, I should be good. Should be good. Okay. 56. Set the next color stop to 0%. Set the color stop for red to 0 and the color stop for green to 50. Huh. Alright, let's do it. 0, 50. And then right after this one, 100. So what does color stop mean at 0 and 100? Feels like that's different than just the 90, because the 90 went... That's some questions, but I think we're just going to use it and make it functional. Now that the color stops are set, you can apply different shades of red to each of these linear gradient. The shades on the top and the bottom will be darker. So let's set the top value. Sorry, I was thinking about having it pass in a function that we can use for all three sets of colors. So here's what I was planning, laying out in my head. Let's go over here. I was thinking that making a color gradient for a conical, that's not it, is it conical shape? A cone? That's not it. Cylinder. I don't know how you spell cylinder. Cylinder shape with CSS. How can I create a function? I'm not sure it's the right word. To set the three RGB colors to have 255 minus, what is it, 122? So 255 minus 100, 155 minus 23, is that right? 33. So 133. No, that. Okay. Regulars to have the what's the second color? Green for 74. So 255 minus 155 is 100 minus 26 more. So 155 plus 26 is 181. Is that right? Close enough. I want to subtract from 55, so I can just I can pass in a number, and then it will subtract from it a cascading of the three numbers. Like that. This is way complicated, isn't it? I don't have it fully thought out in my brain. I haven't given myself time to think about it. Third. I just want to kind of see if this can do some of the thinking for me. Not the learning, but thinking. I want to solve this problem with a clean problem solver function. Is 255 minus 241. Is that right? Yeah. All right, let's just see what it does. Let's just see what it thinks I'm trying to do. What is ODEG? Oh, 0 degrees. Yes. It's just going to be linear gradient. This is not what I want. Alright. It just set up a color that is red with some green, red with a little less green, red with very little green. Yeah. Not what I'm going for. That's a problem that I'm making a problem out of nothing. Okay. So, I'm just going to do what it says. replace the values. Reset that 0 right there, or the green to 0. Set the blue to 0. Okay. So we have 122, 74, 14. Check it. Sorry, it's not right. Pure red. Update the RGB function so that the value is for red. Oh. Oh, fiddlesticks. I didn't read it. I was too busy trying to just make stuff work. So it says, ooh, I like that. Make the green value 74. 74, and make the blue value 14. Oh, wait. Oh my. Please let this be the case. It's saying that it wanted me to change these. Okay. So I'm just changing the brightness of that red. We are upgrading this part of free code candle for the next few minutes. What? Cool. I like it. Interesting. They're upgrading the whole website. Let's see what they're doing. They're doing something. Until Thursday at 10 a.m. I'm gonna take this break to get some food. A little mental food break. Or should I work on that problem I have? Just gonna pause it for a minute. all right. There we are. We're back. Okay. Let's see. Had an idea while I was down there. I went outside for a second, look at the sun. Felt it hit my skin. I heard the sun's good for you. Aha! I knew it! I knew it would work. My idea was also to go over to the free code camp. W3 schools and do a test. If it wasn't going to work. But we're back. Let's modify the second color, which is currently pure green. Let's update the RGB functions with the value for red in this second color is 245, 62, and 113. Okay, this is really specific. So I feel like this is quite in the weeds. 62. But we'll get to a result. Let's see it. Check the code. Okay, it's a red also, so we're finally getting to the marker. Okay, so let's modify the third color with these. Can do 162, 27, and 27. Nice. It's a nice red. Please do not make me do this for all of them. I mean, I guess we should do this for all of them so we can learn it, but putting in 30, 20 different hex numbers is pedantic. Okay. Step 60. The red marker is looking much more realistic. Yes, it is. Now you'll do the same with the green marker using the... Okay, it's having us do it just on our own this time. Great. I like this better. Gives us... I don't have to go step by step. Alright, so just background. Linear dash gradient. Parentheses. And then... Oh... It is step by step. Oh man. Someone really... I mean, this is hard. This is the blessing and a curse when designing tutorials. How much do you do it every little step? There's 90 something steps in this one. And I mean, that was erase the word color next. Versus do what you just did and make, like, if the step said on step 60, what we just did for color 1, do all of that for color 2. The green color. Which would be a whole bunch of steps if it was broken down, which is what we're doing currently. So now we're gonna use hex and use HSL for the last one. I understand. Oh, and then we can kind of see. All right. Use the linear gradient function. Set the gradient direction to 180, and for the first color argument, use a hex code. The values of that. All right. So we're gonna go. Linear dash gradient parentheses 180 deg comma, is that right? Comma? I don't remember anymore. I believe so. And then we're going to do just a hex value, which we don't have to say anything for that, do we? We just... Oh, I don't remember. I do not remember. Please work. Congratulations. That was right. Great. There's no gradient here because there's only one color. We need two colors. So now, that's right. Because this is just a color. It accepts that when you do a hashtag and a sixth thing, that means color. This is a hex color. So now we're going to do a hex color of 71. So I did hashtag 71. And then we're going to do F5. And then 3E. There we go. That's a nice little gradient. Check it. Got it. Going. Good. Last one. Comma. Hashtag 11 6C 31. Check the code. Submit it. Got it. Good. Alright. Even without color stops, you might have noticed that the colors are the same. 0, 50, 100. I did notice that a long time ago when I questioned the 0 and 100% stops. Because I'm imagining when we put a stop on here, if I put 2, what does that do? If I put 50. Huh, okay. Control Z. Control Z. The linear function automatically calculates these values for you, placing the colors along the gradient line by default. In the red CSS rule, remove the 3 color stops. Okay, thanks. Fine. Removing stuff. The music I have is going pretty great, but it's also very chill. I'm going to change it to a list I have made many moons ago. Ooh, I mean, this is not a bad one. Max Richter. Anybody here know a Max Richter? Yeah, anyway, I'm distracted. Back to it. Congratulations. Step 65. If no gradient direction argument is provided, it will assume it goes from top to bottom along the 180-degree line by default. So you can clean up your code by removing those. Okay. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. Try to teach me. Teach me the lessons. The lessons! I love it. If you've watched The Dark Crystal, you know about the essence. I do like that color of like bright neon 80s purple that The Dark Crystal was. So we're trying to learn the lessons. Okay, now you'll apply a gradient to the blue marker, this time using the HSL function arguments. Okay, let's keep HSL right there. We're going to change background color to background. It's giving it less and less detail on how to do these things, which is exactly how it should be. Man, this song is good. Has to turn it up. If you don't know the recomposed Vivaldi stuff by Max Richter, particularly whatever song this is so good. Man. It's just the Four Seasons Spring #1. I want this on repeat forever. I can hit the repeat button. I'm going to do it for a while. Just let it hang out with me. It's those chords behind it. You can't hear it. Go find it and go look for it. find on YouTube. I don't know. It's in movies, trailers, and stuff. Now you'll apply the gradient marker to the blue marker using HSL. Okay. Already got some HSL here. Oh. Again, all the things. Good enough. All right. Now, I'm going to use this. And we're going to pass in. So I copy pasted the word linear gradient because I already typed it once. All right, 186. And then the hue is going to be 76%. For the first color. And then 16% saturation, lightness. Check it. Sorry. Parentheses, maybe we'll fix it. Got it. So there's a parentheses right here and here. And they have to be closed. The first close, second close. Got it. Second color argument in this is going to be... Do I have to type HSL again? I think I do. This is a little bit clunky HSL compared to the hex. So 223 for the hue, 90% for the saturation, 60% for the lightness. Give it a check. I did something wrong. No comma. Comma. There it is. Yep, you gotta have those commas. Commas for your mamas. Submit. All right. And then the third color. Comma. HSL. Parentheses. What do we got? 240 on the degree or the hue. 56 on the saturation, and the lightness is going to be 42. Here we go. Nice, clean looking. Submit and go. Over here, we're way on the old days. But let's go back to here only. We're going to do this. We're going to go red down to there. We're going to copy it right there. Got it. Nice. I wonder what the wrapping stuff looks like in Visual Studio Code. How do you tell it to wrap back instead of do long lines? I don't know. All right. Now that the markers are the correct colors, it's time to build the marker sleeves. And now we're going to go back to our HTML document. And it says inside here, create a new div with the name with the class sleeve. Okay. I believe that's how you do it. Been a bit since I've done this actually, so I am now back into I'm not sure territory. But I think those are all the ways you type it. Div class equals quotation, sleeve, quotation, closing, triangle. That's not what it's called. Opening, angle bracket. There it is. Let's check it. Got it. Nice. Okay. Now create a new CSS rule for sleeve. Let's go back to the over here. So it's a class. I can just call it sleeve. Curly brackets. And what are we going to put inside of this? Width is going to be equal to 110 px. Height. How do you spell height? Height. HT. 25. I missed something on purpose. But I know I did. I need to go and put a semicolon and up, semicolon. There we go. So now we're just gonna write full out dot sleeve curly bracket enter width colon 110 px semicolon height colon 25 px semicolon enter. Well, check it. Congratulations. So there is a container there now. Even here, we can see it. Sleeve. Show me the sleeve. Look at that. You can see it. It's confusing because it's like this, you don't see it, but like this, you do. Alright, so I bet we're going to center it. Let's go have a look. Oh, we're going to give it a color first. To make it look more realistic, let's give it a sleeve a transparent white color. Oh! Okay. I kind of wish... This is what I wish. Code Camp, if you ever listen to this, I wish... so, like, to make it look more realistic, we'll give it a white transparent color. We're not giving it a transparent color yet. We're giving it the first step. I kind of wish when we have like these small little goals, it would say like 72 through 74 before we actually complete that. So I know that it's coming. It's ending at some point. Because I get all excited, I'm like, oh, a thing, and then we do the first of 5 steps. Which I understand all the steps. I get it. I kind of wish it was because if it's transparent. Okay, anyway. We're just going to call it white. Which we can do it so many different ways. Now that we know, we can do it all sorts of ways. Opacity. Aha! Ooh! Ha 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 ha! Hee hee hee. Okay, so let's just give it a thing called opacity. I didn't read any of it, did I? I read nothing. I'm just guessing. 0.25. Opacity describes how opaque or non-transparent something is. Opaque means you cannot see through it at all. If it's less opaque, you can see a little bit through it. Like this. I don't know. As an example, a little bit can get through. If there is no opacity, if it's 0 opaque, everything comes through. Everything. But if it's 50%, half of it's gone. I don't know how half. That's not half, but For example, a solid wall is opaque. No light can pass through, but a drinking glass is much more transparent. You can see through a glass to the other side. So it is less opaque. It has less opacity. The CSS opacity property lets you control how opaque it will be, how solid it will be. And you can determine it to be less solid, calling it transparent, with the value 0. Or completely sorry. 0 is completely transparent, or 1 or 100% is completely opaque, which is where it normally is at 1. In the sleeve CSS rule, set the opacity property to 0.5. Got it. Okay. Another way to set the opacity for an element is to an alpha channel. Similar to opacity property, the alpha channel controls how transparent or opaque color is. You already set this with opacity with a named color. You've already set sleeves opacity with a named color and the opacity property, but you can add an alpha channel to the other CSS properties. Inside, let's remove opacity. Check your code. Great, we did it. You are familiar with the RGB function to set colors. To add an alpha, it's RGBA. The function works like the RGB function, and then one more number, 0 to 1 for the alpha channel. You can also use alpha with HSL A and hex A. Oh, no, I don't know. I'm just guessing. That's my guesses. All right. So, I'm talking too much. My throat's getting scratchy. And I do think I got louder with the music getting louder. I mean, this is fun music, so I don't know what to say. Don't know what to say about that. Check 1, 2. Can I clip it? If I get really loud, does it clip? No, it has a limiter on it, so it will not. I wonder what it sounds like though. I declare bankruptcy. Okay. Let's do this. We're gonna change the background color to RGBA white with 50%. Gotcha. Got it. Let's move on it. RGBA parentheses. Since it's going to be white, it's 255, comma 255, comma 255, comma 0.5. Got it. Your sleeve is looking good. It would look better if it was positioned more towards the right side of the marker. Let's add another element. One way to do that is to add another element before the sleeve to push it right. Oh, we want to do that? Oh, we're going to make a different... Okay, let's do it. Where are we doing it? Add a new div with the class cap before the sleeve element. So we'll just do it like this, I guess. I don't think this is the cleanest way to do this, but cap equals class equals quotation cap. And then we're going to closing a bracket, opening a bracket, / div, closing a bracket. Call it a day. It has no anything yet. We're going to CSS and style it. I do want to do that over here, lest I forget. Div class equal. We already have it. Cap end closing a bracket div. Got it. Okay. Create a new CSS rule. Ooh, we're getting ruly. We're getting unruly in here. But actually extra ruly. Let's go down here. Cap. Captain America. Let's create a new one. Oh, what are we doing to it? What are we doing to it this time? How can we modify this CSS rule? We're going to make the width 60px. The music I'm listening to sounds like it's a movie soundtrack. In a CSS rule where the width is 60px and the height. Why do I always make it a soft th instead of a t? Height. Is there a word for height? Is there a th word? I am questioning reality right now. Height. Where did I learn that? Is that a thing? I'm gonna take a pause. A little height, not height, is considered the standard English form for this word. Is height grammatically correct? Height is the only correct version of this word. Today, it says currently. Since height rhymes with fight or might, why do I say height? Where did that come from? As English evolves. What does height mean? When to use height? Oh. The last time height made a blip on the radar of the English language was the early 1800s. Height, like flight, and might. Right, tight. That's it. Height. There is no height anymore. We've banished it to the memories of the world. Okay. Let's check it. Congratulations. We're gonna power right on through. We've only got 20 more left. We're gonna make this CSS module dust in the wind. Looks like your sleeve disappeared, but don't worry, it's still there. What happened is that your new cap div is taking up the entire width of the marker and is pushing the sleeve down to the next line. This is because the default display property for the div elements is block. So when two block elements are next to each other, they stack like blocks. To position two div elements on the same line, you must Make them inline blocks. Set their display property to inline block. Create a new rule to target both the cap and the sleeve. I don't remember how to do this, but we're going to guess. We're going to guess it right up and down right here by hitting period, cap, sleeve. Why did it go away? I don't know if this is how this works, but we're going for it. Inline dash block. Man, I'm slouchy. Slouching it up in Slouch City. Okay. Check your code. Is that right? Okay. Yeah. You should use a class selector to target both cap and sleeve cases. I do not remember how to do this. I feel like I have done this. I am now in confused territory. Oh. Oh, bother. Oh, wait. Do I do it in the HTML? Two div elements on the same line. The display needs to be inline block. To create one new rule to target both the cap and sleeve classes. Oh. I'm gonna phone a friend, call ChatGPT to help explain this again because I've learned it before. I'm gonna learn it again. ChatGPT, where are you? Okay. How to create a new rule to target two CSS classes in this example. Oh, see, I was so close. Well, I was kind of close. Ha-ha! Okay. You just do commas, and you just write out the class. That's it. See, I knew it was something simple like that, but I didn't know the exact thing, and that's the hard part about all this. You gotta know the exact thing sometimes. Now, here's a little image here. Here's our little thing. So let's go in here. We don't have this yet. The cap. What do we do to the cap? Oh, okay. You put the cap there, huh? Oh, it's before it. That's why. Not in my document. Okay. So now we're going to select both. Oh, I forgot you could do this. You're just going to cap it, comma, dot sleeve, and then we do the curly brackets, display, inline block, nice, flawless victory. In the last project, we learned a little bit about borders and border color. All HTML elements have borders, though they're usually set up to none by default. With CSS, you can control all aspects of the element's border. You set the border on all sides, or just one at a time. For a border to be visible, you need to set its width and style. For a border to be visible, Has to have width, so how many pixels wide it is, and the style. I wonder what style we're gonna do. In the sleeve CSS rule, we're gonna add border stuff. Add the border dash left dash width. Woof. We're getting drilled down. And it's going to have 10px. And we're going to check that. That's going to be correct. But what are we going to do with it now? Oh, here's a style. Okay. And then, we're going to add a whole different one. Border dash style. Nope. Well, we can do each side. Left dash style. Solid. Man. Yeah. I bet after that we can make the color of that solid change. Do it over here. Where are we at? Just on sleeve times. Oh, I didn't do this today. Okay. Alright, typed it in. Next one, 81. Your border should be visible now. If no color is set, black is by default, but you can change the color code more readable. It's better to set the border color explicitly. So in the sleeve CSS rule, I'm going to have border left color, set the value to our thing. Border left color black. Border left cool. The border left shorthand property lets you set the border's width, style, color at the same time. It goes with style then color. In the sleeve, replace all of that we just typed with just border left, and then we can do width, style, color. So 10 solid black. So if I do 10 solid black. Oh, no commas? Ugh. We use commas for everything. But no commas on this one. Not a fan of this inconsistency. So maybe here's the thing I'm noticing. Commas are often used inside parentheses, but also when we're doing this kind of thing. So when is it just okay to have spaces? Oof. In CSS rules, commas are used to list classes and, well, I say that. Commas explain the use of commas. I see commas to list classes for a rule and commas to list RGB values inside parentheses. That's it. I'm just going to ask that. In CSS, commas serve different purposes based on their context within the rules. Let's clarify the two main uses you mentioned. In CSS, you can use commas to group multiple selectors into a single rule, like the class and sleeve situation. You can also use commas to list values inside of parentheses. Okay, I like this. This is good. What about values for a attribute, a property, for properties that don't use commas? In CSS, properties that don't use commas typically expect single values, not lists separated by commas. Here are a few examples. Okay. What about border left 10px solid black? You're correct. This indeed does have multiple values separated by spaces. So you're setting the left border, but they're still not by commas. They're separated by spaces specify different aspects of the border left property. So when and why are commas used and not used in CSS? They're used to separate multiple values when you apply a rule to multiple selectors to list values within certain CSS functions, to define multiple values within certain properties. When and why they're used depends on the context of the specific methods you're working with. Using commas in CSS, multiple selectors, multiple values inside of a function. Do not use commas in single values. Border, margin, padding, shorthand. Oh, okay. Well, it looks like it's like the shorthand stuff doesn't use commas as much. Your markers are looking good, but to make them look even more realistic, let's change the border style to double solid borders. Okay. Double. Wow. I can type. Doubler. Double. Oh, that does look more like a crayon. Alright. The black color border looks pretty harsh against the more transparent sleeve. You can use an alpha channel to lower it. For the border left shorthand property, use the RGBA function. Alright, well, let's go right here. RGBA. And let's give it an opacity of 0, 0, 0, 75%. We did it. Awesome, your red marker is looking good. Now all you need to do is add the cap sleeves to other markers. Wait, what? Is that really the case? Yes, that's why we did this way. That's why we did this. copy. I feel like this is why you do classes. Yeah, exactly. That is what's up. That's what's up. Get that sleeve. Make sure it's the same all around. Cool. Last thing I'll do is add a slight shadow to each marker to make them look even more realistic. The box shadow property lets you apply one or more shadows to run an element. Here's the syntax. Box shadow. Offset X, offset Y color. Here's how the offset X and offset Y values work. Both offset X and offset Y accept number values in pixels and other CSS units. A positive offset X moves shadows to the right. All right, this is, think this is going to be I think this is going to be textbook. This. Oh, this is hard to see. I think we're going right back to X and Y axis here. Let's have a look and see if. See, we got -2, -2, +2, +2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, -2, -4, -6, -2. Oh, that's +2, 4. All right, so look. Offset X values move them to the right. And offset X negative. So X is the horizontal. X, we always have to walk out to the rocket ship to go up high. That's how I remember the X and Y. X, Y, I had to walk first, then jump. So then we have the Y. Positive values move the shadow down, and negative moves it up. This has always confused me. Why? Why did negative go up and positive go down? I don't understand it. But that's what it is. So. Okay. Height and width of the shadow is determined by the height and width of the element it's applied to. You could also have the optional spread radius. This is a bunch of stuff right here. All right. This has a bunch of properties. You can use the spread radius to spread out each reach of the shadow. Start by adding a simple shadow to the red marker. I guess we're going to add it at the end, like this. Yes, here, box dash shadow. Oh, with all of these values. Okay, I feel like previously on Free Code Camp, we only put one thing in at a time and made 15 steps. Now we are going to put all of them in at once. 5px, comma. Dun dun dun. This is a fun song. It's still Vivaldi. Capital X, does that matter? I don't know if this is not going to work out. I'm going to do this one like that. I feel like that makes more sense. Oh. Wait. I'm just guessing here. I feel like this is the X. It's going to be 5px. We're taking this in to the red. Why? Why are we in the red right now? Oof. Yeah, this is where I wanted all those different little things. Huh. This is frustrating. Add a simple shadow to the red marker. In the .red CSS rule, add the box shadow property. Box shadow. And then the values of 5px for the offset. I don't know. Did you tell me previously? This is how this works? Oh. Okay. You did not tell me that. You did tell me that. Right there. You gave me the example. Very good. Thank you. I sit corrected. Pixel, pixel, color. Gotcha. Got it. 5px, 5px, red. There is our 1999 drop shadow for the internet. Okay. There are properties, hidden, special, unknown properties right before our very eyes. Check the code. It works. Great. Okay. A simple red shadow. But what's if you wanted to position on the opposite side? We can do -5, -x. So we're going to update them to negative, negative. Check it. Got it. Okay. I see it moving around. Notice the edges of the shadow are sharp. It's because the blur radius value is not set. There's a pixel, pixel, another pixel. All right. Oh, we're going to do this for green now. And we're not going to change red yet. In the green, we're going to add box shadow property 5px, 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 green. Okay. Okay. This is looking like it's supposed to, I believe. I wonder if we could make the shadow change with our mouse. We could find the mouse point and then draw a line from the object on the screen and the mouse on the screen, and that wherever your mouse is, it always points the other way. All right. Just thinking out loud here. Just thinking out loud. But what if you wanted to expand the shadow out further? You can do that with the optional spread radius value. Spread radius value is the next one. Like the blur, the spread defaults at 0 and isn't included. Practice adding a 5-pixel shadow directly around the blue marker. Woo! All right, blue. Coming for you, blue. box dash shadow. All right, we're going to have 0 px, 0 px, 5 px. This is, okay, offset x 0, offset y 0, 0 blur, 0 px blur, but a 5 px spread. Let's see what this spread does. And the color will be blue. Well, the spread looks like it's just padding. Sorry, margin. Padding is on the inside, margin's on the outside, correct? Yep. Padding on the inside. Okay. Got it. We're going to finish this thing. All right. Now that you're familiar with the box shadow property, you can finalize the shadows, starting with 1 for the red marker. Let's finalize that red marker shadow. Update the values of the box shadow property to reflect 0 offset, 0 blur, blur 20, radius 0. So here, we're going to go 0 px, 0 px, what was it, 20? 20 on the blur, and 0 on the spread. Color still red. Is that what we want? All right, a big glow. We're glowing. We're glowing somewhere. All right, next, up to the color value of the red marker's box shadow property. The color is going to be, use the values of 83, 14, 14, and 0.8. Okay, you're taking us back to the RGBA. RGBA, it didn't tell us that. Oh, it did tell us that. So, 83, comma, 14, comma, 14, comma, 0.8, 0.8. Space it out. Check the code. Congratulations. That looks nice. That looks nice. I mean, I'm not a fan of shadows, but that's a nice shadow. The shadows of your green and blue markers will have the same position, spread, blur. The only difference will be the colors. So, where's my red? Copy. All right. So let's fix all the properties but the color. Paste. Paste. Check it. All right, let's set the green with a hex code. Oh, we're to the alpha now, aren't we? And CC for the alpha channel. No longer hex, I guess. 3B 7E 20 CC. Check it. Forget it. We got it. We're good. All right. So now we're going to do the same thing with the blue. HSLA 223, comma 59, comma 31, comma 0.8. Check it on the mic. We did it! We finished the next one. All right, and we're gonna do a W3 schools. I have a login. That's right, I have a login. We're gonna turn this off for a minute while I log in. Just logging in, loading up. I have a good job, it says. Well, whatever I did. Let's do a little quiz here. Let's see how far into the CSS quiz I can get. I should do that. Okay. Let's do as fast as I can. And then I'm gonna go eat lunch. Cascading style sheets. Got it. What's the correct HTML referring to external style sheet? Oh. Oh dear. Link. Well, that. This. What is an HTML document? In the correct place. Where is correct place for in the head? Which HTML tag is used to define an internal style sheet? Style. Which HTML attribute is used to define inline styles? Oh. I'm sorry. Quiz. These are all HTML questions. I mean, I should know these. So, can't complain, can't excuses, no excuses. Let's go with style. I don't know. What's the correct CSS syntax? Okay. If it's the body, we're going to do that and that. Yep. Okay. How do you insert a comment? I believe it's that one. I don't use that very often. Which property is used to change the background color? Background color. How do you add background color for all the H1 elements? H1, that. I mean, it has to be. Which CSS property is used to change the text color of an element? Oh, I've forgotten. Don't remember that. Which CSS property controls the text size? I believe it's font size. What's the correct CSS syntax for making... This is good for me to do. It's been 2 weeks. I gotta remember these things. What's the correct CSS syntax for making all the P elements bold? So if I use P, font weight, bold. How do you display hyperlinks without underline? I believe it is that one. How do you make each word in the text start with a capital letter? Ooh. I believe it's that one. I'm not sure. Which property is used to change the font of an element? Change the font family. How do you make the text bold? Font weight bold? Oh dear. So many things I don't remember. How do you display a border like this? 10. The bottom? Alright, so 10, 1, 5, 20. Which property is used to change the left margin of an element? Margin? What is used when padding property? When using the padding property, are you allowed to use the negative values? Ooh, padding? I'm gonna guess no. I think CSS, you can, the margin you can. How do you make a list that lists its items with squares? I have no idea. I don't think I see the word style that often inside the CSS. How do you select an element with the ID demo? ID? Oh, what is the ID one? That's different than the class. That was 2 weeks ago. Oof. How do you select elements with the class name test? Dot test. There we go. I select all P elements inside of a div. Leave it as that. How do you group selectors? That one. What is the default value of position property? I think it's absolute. Alright, link, head, internal style sheet, inline style, body, comment, background color, H1, it's just color, okay, yeah. Size is font size, to make elements bold, font weight bold, hyper underline is text decoration none. I need to make each word capital letter. Text transform, not just transform, but text transform. Which property is used to change the font of an element? Font family. And make all the text bold, font weight bold. That's right. Margin. No negative values in padding. How do you make a list? You do it with list style type square. Okay. Hashtag demo. That's the ID. The ID is the hashtag. How do you select? Ooh, yawning. I gotta take a break for a bit. Elements named test dot test. It's class element. How do you select all the P elements? Just hit the P. Interesting. Didn't remember that. How do you do group selectors with a comma? And it's static is the default. Largest heading. Background color. Oh man, I've forgotten already. I gotta do this every day. Choose the correct element to find important text. Ooh, my brain's wandering. Alright, I'm done. I'm calling it. I'm just going on now. I'm now interneting in front of a video screen. Thank you for watching. I got all the titles wrong. I'll fix that a bit. But you'll never know, I guess, if I fix it. So, titles are right. Aha! Just kidding. Farewell. Have fun. Bye.